How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Kai, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is... You're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. A fresh trial without a Faye helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. And this is where the difficulty spikes a little bit more than last time. What's up, everybody? My name is Gianfranco, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Last time, it's been a while since I recorded. We started the chapter. We met with Lana Skye and Emma Skye. Both sisters. They're like the Faye sisters. Yeah, all that stuff. We met with the lunch girl. She's really pretty, and we met with a cowboy guy. He's pretty cool. Anyway, let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Bob. Court is now scheduled for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be part of the proceeding today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness in her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand. The cuff-up queen. How might I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Would the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is what everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running lunchtime these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. Huh? Huh? What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Star was a detective? Ah, I know who you are. Cup of Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Star. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's place, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot floor plans added to the court record. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star. Wait, aren't you talking about me? Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. When I said something, perhaps it was my fine home detective's intuition at work. Ooh, that's scary. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garbage car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then, she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodsman's chest. Bring a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there's no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Witness's account. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead up to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing of a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Star, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro. As you know, my testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well. You may continue, Miss Star. This boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? You have several. Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. Note self. The judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot and in A block. It's up the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime? You sensed something, so you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like... how would you say? Oh yes. It was like a feeling you get when you eat a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. Then I must be hard. Yellowed and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the order of an old cheese to match. In any case, there in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. By garish car, you mean? Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed it was. Why not cases? And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly say that the following. Persecutors are nothing more than worm. Ergo, you are biased, witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline somewhere before. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph! You took this? The moment that I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchbox is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness? Why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is more certainly the defendant. Ooh. Oh. That is unmistakably Nana Sky. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Tell the court, why didn't you try to stop this crime? You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and persuade the witness a bit, alright? For now, for some reason having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that! Okay. She doesn't have a knife in the picture. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Guy stab the victim with a knife. As I've already said, yes. I tore it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Guy not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet, it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stain on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but it could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem? Except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Oi, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it. If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering a jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hand in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing these gloves. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? Like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the shore, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. I got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. Let's see. Okay, that's not what I meant to do. That is not what I meant to do. Sorry. Okay. That's... Oh, wait. Isn't there... No. A garage car, license and lean routes. Okay, no, wait, I always knew this day would come. I was on my way to deliver lunch with my boyfriend. Oh no, that's not it. Alright, I thought it was going to say do something about the car. The murder was planned, the rubber gloves proves it. That's not it. Name of the deceased, Bruce Goodman. A single stab wound was found. Okay. That, please. Okay, let me just check again. Okay. No. Bread. Okay. Have that, we already got that discussion, alright. Maybe that, some, yeah. Oh my god, I'm not sure what it is. There we go. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell Bugs lunches. I sell Bugs lunches for a living, you know? That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's what this is? The bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the... The defendant is the chief prosecutor of the district, right? Mommy, are the prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, Rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Order, order, order. Great, now the tide is turning in my favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch she'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide had turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really, now? Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Gunman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So, if I order pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. I have already caught one of the contradictions, and this one. She plunged the knife again and again, and it also says, was it here? A single stab wound. You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness, you got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck, so she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. Miss Kai was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. A judge with a bib? That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood in her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance! Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Stranger her abilities as a detective really sets her off. The short wake burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, would it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wake will burn longer. Oh, see, more scientific testing is required. Yeah, the blood is like on her coat. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself. With this photograph. Huh? But it can't be! Only a professional lunch lady could be utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, but something red, really. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I remember some things accurately at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehended a suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition of her off to the side. I quickly caught her, explaining her right. Whoa. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. I guess when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. You're quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is kind of a snake. Don't bother me with details, unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. She can bite me. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Well, there's already one thing that's wrong. She said that she quickly caught her. But, if you remember, she was in Block B. And there's a fence there. So that doesn't make any sense. Oh. Never mind. That wasn't it. You say it quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press for more details. Yes. I'd like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. Oh, that's what I had to do. Okay. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in Block B. So you witnessed the murder from here? We'll make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Star? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing. The Kafka Queen launched the athlete, indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gone into my suicide that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high too. So how did Miss Kai not get away? Okay. She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just the one word. So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else. Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately. My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see? No, the court doesn't see, Miss Stark. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall. That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order, and so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should of course add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Okay. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Ah, I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one. Listen closely, rookie. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. during that time, you climb over the chain link fence. Then, when I boldly grab her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? Haha! Now we can present the map. Miss Star, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out of 2 years ago. Well, Miss Star, this is a fatal contradiction to with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it up all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in Block B, you couldn't have seen it. What? Order! What's the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies! That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me to question? That's exactly what lie this witness has told to the court. Here's where the counterattacks begin. I can't afford to get this wrong. She lied about where she saw it. Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone, it would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. Guys, she was with her boyfriend? This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security guard room is in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are so many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness is not being part of the prosecutor's office current part in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought lunch for your boyfriend in the security guard room, right? Well, Miss Star, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could have turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Star. Order. Witness, what have you done? You used to be a detective, you should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said that she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells us all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows it. She wouldn't risk that without any good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Star witnessed this crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must be a vital difference, but what would change? The distance to the crime. It changed the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans is quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not the question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Star, you witnessed the crime of the security guard from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Kai? Well, with this, you. Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing the PB&J, but the peanut butter and jam lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass wall station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitor's parking lot in B. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you mind another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do you have any evidence to stop this? Okay, I do have an objection. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it, al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knot, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you're a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea, I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instinct of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Kai doll at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah! Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that Ken shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the Kafo Queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Hold it! Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's one she's trying to foist me off. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? This is just another one of her trick lunches. Is this another one of her trick lunch boxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Tar. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple decker! All the deference to the witness determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the lunchtime motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Oof. I just have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now? To the matter of the victim's shoes, did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found in the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant with Nala Sky. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed. Didn't I mention it? I have 3 boyfriends in forensic. In any case, Your Honor, I can accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1: evidence shall be shown without. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edward sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a number of the forensic department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty solid. You got at least studied some evidence law, really. The prosecutor's complaint notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Alright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Actually, I should have mentioned that. Okay. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results. How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. You know, when you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. Sorry. This when the suspect is admitting she did it? But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Star. Let's just get this over with. Okay. Ah, there's blood here too. And I saw the shoe. It's got to be the victim's. He must have stepped on a puddle of his own blood. All this blood, it's horrible. This one might be an important clue. This blood, it's my sister's, right? It appears so. Anna's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon, if that would happen. See this fashionable basket I have there? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. Happy for you and your lunchbox bags, really. In any case, you removed the available evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. So you brought it to the forensic department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need approval. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were two types of blood found on the shoe. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant without a blood test. You came to know something about blood tests, Rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they say there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Skies. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid of he was going to say that. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? Pretty cool. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? There is a problem. If you're not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, Rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Wouldn't that be... the blood here? I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense, the victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? Well... loss of blood from a chest wound. No? Oh, there's no blood stain on the floor. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Ah! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about the shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, order. Well, witness? What? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. I don't know why it's not here. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. What? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehended the suspect. The prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hand aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rare. I thought that was strange. I thought that was a strange thing for their normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though, apparently, you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Ah, you don't mean. Yes, the suspect knocked that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would have become evidence against her. What? That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstain on the left of the victim's shoe ties her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky Ratsain was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister got blood on her on the shoe. Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please. What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime, and she tried to conceal it. But enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant missed on the sky. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberation is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats will scare the cop-up queen. Look at this. A photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in that evidence. Mr. Wright, wait! Look, the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet! Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder of the crime scene was washed with water. Sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the very beginning. And this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up, not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Your Honor, wait. What is it with your people? Can I hold down my verdict in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph. The last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right? Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah. I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Rather wrong. I better go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph. Well, this tab, no, it's this thing, the muffler. The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Which is a woman, Edgeworth. Your Honor? You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system. A pipe. Oh, I see, I see. What's a suspicious looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does it have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Objection! Sorry, Miss Star, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. There we go. Miss Star? Recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Oh! Ah! Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh! I love how over the top this is. Well, it seems we have to suspend the proceeding. Suspend? She said I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered, here we do have this. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen that all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Phew, that was a close one. But we made it, at least for now. This court will adjourn for 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? To be continued. Whew.